There's another interesting feature tonight because along with use of flex on their kickoff team.
Staggered up.
Remember, you can't block below the waist this year, so there shouldn't be too many long returns. It's tough to block a man. Anderson across the 25, fumbles at the 28, but after the whistle. Terry Bradshaw and the Pittsburgh offense takes the field. He'll have Big Sidney Thornton for the injured Rocky Blyer and the incredible Franco Harris in the backfield with him. His wide receivers, Stallworth and Jim Smith, with Lynn Swan injured but will play tonight, and Benny Cunningham back from knee surgery, the Giant tight end.
And the stars would indicate those players who weren't in the starting lineup for the Super Bowl.
Mike Webster, the all-pro center, over the ball. Both wide receivers to the right, with Stallworth in the slot. And it's Franco slashing to the 35, a gain of 7.
Let's take a quick look at the fine offensive forward wall of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cove and Sam Davis on the left side. The finest center many say in football. Mike Webster, Mullins, and Larry Brown. Brown, of course, injured a good part of last year, did not start in that Super Bowl game.
2nd down and 3 for the Steelers, who have not run the ball particularly well this summer, nor have the Cowboys. Both coaches expressing concern over that fact. Quick trap, and it's Thornton up the middle for the first down to the 39. Brunig and Cole made the stop for Dallas.
I think we can expect the Steelers to be showing a lot of running here early in the game, and those are the people who are trying to shut it down for the Dallas Cowboys. Larry Cole and Dave Stalls have taken over on the left side for Too Tall and Jethro Pugh. And of course, Randy White and Harvey Martin. They have a couple of scorers to settle. Henderson, Brunig, and Lewis. Fine linebackers on a team that's deep in good linebackers.
This is a game blessed with great linebacking.
Oh, boy.
First down, Pittsburgh, 39-yard line. Bradshaw's not thrown yet. It's Harris slipping off his own tackle out to the 44, a gain of 5. So the quarterbacks love that when they get 5 on first down. Defensive backs for the Cowpokes, and they've had to do a little shuffling tonight. Aaron Mitchell, a top rookie pick out of Las Vegas, 2nd-round pick at the left corner, with Benny Barnes moving to strong safety for the injured Waters. Kyle at the other corner, and all-pro Cliff Harris at free safety.
They're going to miss Charlie Waters. They need his leadership.
2nd and 5. Flanker screen to Smith. Brilliantly by Aaron Mitchell, the rookie, and what a hit.
Here in Dallas, they talk about Aaron Mitchell as being cut in the mold of the Steeler cornerbacks. He is mean and he is tough, and he'll hit you. Reads it perfectly. Gets away from Randy Grossman and just puts that helmet right to the ribs.
I like the nickname he's already been given by Charlie Waters. They call him AM/PM. You're awake before he hits you, but after he nails you, lights are out. AM/PM, and Mitchell impressive on his first play. It's now 3rd and 10, Pittsburgh. Good protection. Open. Smith. Broken up again by 32, Dennis Thurman, the 5th defensive back, former USC All-American, and the Steelers will have to give up the football.
We'll see Lynn Swan, if you're wondering where he is later in the game, perhaps. He had a freak collision with a goalpost, and he is on the sideline for the first part of this game.
So thanks to that fine play by the rookie cornerback Mitchell, Cowboys are going to get the football. To return, number 22, Wade Manning, did not play football at Ohio State, was an all-Big Ten center fielder. Craig Colquitt, short kick, and a lateral bounce out of bounds at the 22-yard line. So the Cowboys come out of that rather well. First down at their own 22. Roger Staubach, NFL's top passer last year, takes the field. With him, Cowboys have in the backfield Preston Pearson for the injured Tony Dorsett and Robert Newhouse. The receiving corps for Dallas, Tony Hill had a big year, 2nd season out of Stanford last year. Billy Joe DuPree, the Giant tight end. Drew Pearson, one of the game's best at the other wide spot. From the 22. Staubach now 37 years old. He surely doesn't look it. Newhouse. To the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard. 2nd and 9. J.T. Thomas back in uniform, number 24, after sitting out last year with a blood disorder, made the play.
One of the question marks going into last season was the Cowboy offensive line, but late in the year they proved to be a very effective unit. Certainly would like to carry some of that same momentum into this game. Pat Donovan, they consider him their finest offensive lineman. The left tackle, Scott, Rafferty the guards, Fitzgerald is healthy and excited about that, as is Rayfield Wright, feeling better than he has in several years.
Second down, 9 Dallas. Pearson in motion. Newhouse up the middle to the 29-yard line before he's pinned by Ray Oldham, number 25, playing for the injured Mike Wagner. Wagner not seriously hurt, but is not expected to see duty tonight. Thomas also in on that play.
The Steelers steel curtain, L.C. Greenwood and Joe Green, they've been there forever on that left-hand side. And Steve Furness, very versatile, very talented tackle in his own right. And, of course, at the right end to be Dwight White, number 78, starting there tonight. And those are some linebackers right there. Lambert, Ham, in a class almost by themselves, and Lauren Taves, a very talented and intelligent linebacker on the right-hand side.
And what backups in Winston and Cole, and they've got two great rookies, too, we'll be talking about. Staubach first toss, complete. First down, DuPree at the 36-yard line. Lambert and Thomas on the tackle.
We really have two classic tight ends. Both DuPree and Cunningham are huge targets. Staubach, of course, back quickly, and he does look younger than his years. Zips that ball right on the money. DuPree controls it, and even though he's got a body tangle all around him, that's J.T. Thomas. He is going to get some extra yardage.
First down for the Cowboys at their own 36-yard line. In his 20th year, Tom Landry. Newhouse and Pearson. With Jay Salty, the tight end, in motion, it's Pearson's first carry. And he cuts to the 40-yard line, a gain of 4. Right into the arms of 58 Jack Lambert of Kent State.
One of the real secrets of the success of this defense is the ability of their linebackers. For example, look at Lambert, number 58 in the middle. That's Rafferty trying to get a block on him. He slips the block, stays right with the ball carrier. Preston Pearson tries to get up through there, and he gets Lambert and his fellows right on top of him. Bam.
Merlin, what was interesting about that, Lambert took that little false step to the right, which the offense tried to get him to do to get the blocking angle, but he read it so quickly he was able to get away from the block and make the stop.
Even when he made that little move, he was still strong enough and quick enough to get away from it, as you said, Vic. That's the secret of great linebacking.
Second down, 5. Pearson, no hold at all, right into the arms of Big Joe Green, number 75, who lives in the Dallas area. Defensive secondary for the men in the black jerseys. Ron Johnson, what a great rookie year at the cornerback last year for the Steelers. The veteran Mel Blunt at the other corner, considered maybe the best man-to-man operator in the game. J.T. Thomas at strong safety. Ray Oldham, free safety for the injured Donnie Shell and Mike Wagner.
They're hoping to have both Shell and Wagner back, but you don't like to miss that kind of talent. Steelers strong enough to seemingly compensate for that. It's amazing that they can do it, Dick.
3rd and 4 from the 42. Blitz. Read well, but Staubach with no time to search out DuPree. J.T. Thomas on the coverage, and both Lambert and Ham right there on Staubach.
One of the things that the Steelers did effectively against the Cowboys in the Super Bowl was the 3rd down blitz, and you saw an example of it there. You just can't give Staubach time to throw the ball or he'll eat you alive.
Lynn Swan waiting his turn on the sidelines. He moved very well in the warm-ups, so we suspect that the great star from the University of Southern California, well, the catches he makes, that one in the Super Bowl last January, just a ballet move. We're going to see that at halftime, by the way. Danny White with a terrific catch. Jim Smith at the 11. Flags down, and so is Smith at the 21. We may have had a block below the waist. 47-yard kick by Danny White.
Danny's back for the first time kicking. He has a broken thumb. They put a smaller cast on. He handled that snap very well, but we'll keep an eye on him. There was the signal.
Holding.
Yep. Yeah. You saw the arm come out. Somebody just wrapped around. That's very difficult with the new rule. You can't block below the waist, and yet your responsibility in that punt wall is to go down and keep people away from your punt returner. And I'm afraid we're going to see a lot of holding calls until the guys adjust to that.
Billy Michael Houston hands on the return. Number 35. Be a first down.
While that new rule will take some of the excitement out of the kick returns, it certainly is welcomed by all the athletes who have gone down with injuries because of those low blocks. We have a timeout in Irving, Texas. The Steelers and the Cowboys, first quarter, no score.
All mufflers are not created equal.
6 minutes gone, first quarter at Texas Stadium. A sellout crowd, no score. The Cowboys and the Steelers. Pittsburgh pinned deep in its own end. Bradshaw sets up camp at his own 7. Sidney Thornton, third-year back out of northwestern Louisiana, 230-pounder, short yardage. Larry Cole made the play for Dallas.
When you're pinned back to your goal line, you of course don't want to make a mistake. Quite often you'll want to run a conservative play, and you'd obviously go to your big back, and I'm sure that that's what Terry was thinking. He handed it off to Thornton. Of course, the Cowboys were thinking to step ahead and pinned him down for virtually no gain.
Give him a yard, 2nd and 9. Stallworth left, Smith right. Split Thornton and Harris left right behind Bradshaw, and this is Franco Harris. Finds a little daylight, gets out to the 12 or 13-yard line. Buried by white jerseyed Cowboys, spearheaded by Bob Brunig's charge. Brunig a good one in that middle linebacking spot.
Well, you look across at these defenses. We could talk about talent all night, but the balance of these two defensive teams is frightening. They don't give you any weaknesses to probe. And of course, the secret of that flex defense is that they spread you out so far that very often they've got more people there than you have blockers, and you can't get anywhere against them.
3rd and a short 5. Harris to the 15, and the Steelers will have to kick it. Thomas Hollywood Henderson, number 56, made the hit. Henderson, who has formed his own company now. Things are going rather well. He's called it Hollywood 56 Productions. Thank you.
Well, now if he could just capture that on film, he'll be in business.
You better keep your eyes open. You might run into him on the prairie there.
Listen, I hope he's not after my job.
Deep to return is Wade Banning. At the 40 is Colquitt, who had the best net yardage of any punter in the NFL last year, over 35 yards net per kick. That two-step approach, and I don't think they'll ever block one of his. But that one is offline, out of bounds near midfield, and Dallas will get it at the Pittsburgh 49. Timeout. Cowboys and Pittsburgh territory, no score. You have to go over Greenwood, Green, and Ham.
And with Lambert filling from the inside. not a bad quartet.
2nd and 9. Staubach to throw. He's 1 for 2. Great catch at the 39 by Preston Pearson. What hands! The former Steeler, and now they say no, he trapped the ball.
Try and give you a look at it. Staubach showing here why he's so valuable as a quarterback. He didn't want to run, but when he has to, he can do it. Now let's watch it, see if that ball does in fact touch the ground. Good angle on it. Did he control it? Did touch the ground before it hit down on top of him there, but looked like he may have wobbled it as he hit the ground.
Well, from that angle, it looked as if it was a clean catch, but it was difficult to tell.
Well, the official Dick was right on top of it. Our angle won't always give you the clean view. Let's take a second look at it. Now, there's no question he touches it before it touches the ground. But I think the question is, did he lose control right there? And I think maybe he did. Maybe he didn't have it locked up when he hit the ground with it.
Nevertheless, what an effort by Pearson.
Pearson catches him in and out all over the field. He's probably their most valuable receiver on a 3rd down situation.
He had 47 catches last year to lead the Cowboys. 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Lots of time. Open man Tony Hill short of the first down as he's drilled by Robin Cole at the 41. It'll be 4th and 2. And Tom Landry's decision will be to punt.
Well, 2 things. First, you wouldn't think that a receiver would check up short on a 3rd down situation like that. But the other thing that bodes a little bit of bad news for the Steelers, Roger has plenty of time to throw that football. And as I said earlier, you give him time, and he'll get the ball down there for the first downs, and he'll give you fits.
Danny White is playing with a heavy wrap on that fractured right thumb, so he may have difficulty handling the snap. You see the bandage Jim Smith, who has never fair caught a punt yet, 46 in a row. The other end, he'll let this one go. Into the end zone away from Benny Barnes. First down, Pittsburgh at the 20. So far, no score. The Steelers and the Cowboys. 5 minutes left, first quarter. And the Steelers, no score. Pittsburgh ball at their own 20. Thus far, the American Conference teams showing some strength over the NFC. 24-15 advantage. And so it was in the Super Bowl result last January. Bradshaw 1 for 2 for a -5 yards. Has Lynn Swann in the game for the first time. Give to Thornton. Accelerates out to the 24. And as they unpile, the last jersey up belongs to 56 Thomas Henderson. Also into the play, 53 Bruning.
I don't know what you feel, but my feeling in the early going, I like watching two big heavyweights out there, and they're just kind of popping a little bit right now. They really haven't started to throw the heavy leather, but I think we're going to see it before too long. There's just too much talent on these two teams not to get some fireworks going in this ball game.
Well, you wonder if both coaches are going to insist upon establishing that running game. Well, Bradshaw going to throw 2nd and 6. There's Swann. First down at the 39. Aaron Mitchell and Benny Barnes collaborated on the stop.
That's nice. We asked for fireworks. We get instant cooperation from Bradshaw and Swann. I think probably the most graceful receiver in all of football. Number 88, Lynn Swann. Just smooth, great acceleration, and loves to go up after that football. A lot of receivers won't go into the air after it. They know they're vulnerable. Swann loves it. He goes up there, and if you hit him, fine. He'll take it.
Al Lynn takes a breather, and Jim Smith in for him. Swann 1 catch away from his 200th reception. He's only played 5 years. Good position for the Steelers. Harris jitterbugging, looking for a hole. There was none. He gains a couple. Harris, one of the many stars in this game. He needs only 1,002 yards to pass Joe the Jet Perry and be the number 4 rusher all time.
Dick, in talking to Terry Bradshaw earlier today, one of the interesting things he told me was that he said during the preseason, he said, we haven't played that well, but he said, I saw things this year that I've never seen before, and I think I saw them because I was more relaxed than I've ever been. If he plays much better than he did last year, a lot of people are going to be in trouble.
Isn't it nice to know when you're good? Bradshaw.
Oh, beautiful play.
Oh. Forward at the 45 and picking up blockers to the Dallas 36, first down. Bradshaw and Stallworth, they connected for 2 touchdowns in that Super Bowl.
One of the things that's been so exciting about Dallas is timing patterns, and yet that play was thrown before it looked like Stallworth was even going to make the cut onto the sideline. Bradshaw not only had to throw it earlier than he wanted to, but he had to hang the ball because it had to stay in the air a long time. What a beautiful play.
And we have our first injury of the game. A Dallas Cowboy wounded and screened from our view. Appears to be one of the defensive backs. Aaron Kyle, 25. Hurt on the play. 22-yard gain from Bradshaw to Stallworth. So as they tend to the cornerback from Wyoming, let's break for this important word. No score. Pittsburgh driving first quarter.
Hey, Fred.
Good news for the Cowboys. Kyle does not appear to be seriously hurt. Wade Manning, the rookies, replaced him at right corner. So 2 rookies facing Bradshaw at the corners for Dallas. First down at the 41. Harris to the 35. Actually, the line of scrimmage, the 36-yard line. He gains 1 to the 35. D.D. Lewis in his 11th year out of Mississippi State, number 50 for the Cowboys with the hit.
Franco Harris over the years, probably the most effective cutback runner that I've seen. And if you're going to run effectively against that flex defense, you have to be able to cut back. You're not going to outrun them to the outside. Pittsburgh has had success with it, but the Cowboys are doing an excellent job of shutting down the run. Don't have a number on them, but I doubt if they're averaging more than about 2.5 a carry.
Bradshaw in a passing situation, 2nd and 9. Deflected. It was intended for Stallworth or Cunningham. It was Stallworth coming back to meet it. Thomas Henderson leaped high in front of the pass and deflected it away, and he thought he had an interception.
And there's a penalty. There's a flag downfield. Bradshaw, again, we talked about the mobility on the other side of the line. These quarterbacks very similar. Early in their careers, both did a lot of running. Now they only run when they have to, but they still can run effectively. Bradshaw, I think, just threw a bad pass. Looked like Thomas Henderson very upset with himself that he didn't come down with the interception.
But the penalty is against the Cowboys. Personal foul against Dallas, says referee Bob Frederick. And it's a first down, Pittsburgh at the 20. Mean Joe Green. When he smiles, it's hard to imagine how anyone could call him Mean Joe.
Took most of the team to dinner at his house. He lives in Dallas, and his mother and wife cooked up quite a feed for them last night.
Now the Steelers, deepest penetration of this game, and it's Harris plowing for 3. Bruning there to meet him head on. 50-year man out of Arizona State. You know, the coaches, they give various one-word lines to describe a player, and if you're a Bob Bruning, you have to like what they say. Competitive. What a nice way to express a man's talent. Competitive.
He's a very intense young man, and carries tremendous responsibility in that defense. Must call the defenses, must call all the shifts. And the Cowboys play certainly one of the most complex, if not the most complex, defensive system in football.
Bradshaw audibleizing 2nd and 7 at the 17. Play action to Harris. Smith to the 6-yard line.
Sidney Thornton all by himself in the end zone, had himself on the heavens, said, "Here I am, Terry, you missed me." But of course, Bradshaw looking at his first receiver, then to his second, able to get that one off and put it right on the money. And Jim Smith has done a good job when he's had a chance to play. Doesn't get many opportunities, but as you saw there, has good hands, runs some good patterns.
Aaron Mitchell with good coverage. He was right on him. It was a good throw. First and goal for the Steelers outside the Dallas 6-yard line. A minute left in the first quarter, no score. And Bradshaw again appears to be changing his play at the line of scrimmage. Thornton to the 3-yard line and almost lost the football when Kyle, 25, back in the game, made that second hit.
Very dangerous when the back goes for that extra yardage. Often he's bouncing off and that ball comes loose a little bit. You'll see it here. Thornton getting some excellent blocking from Larry Brown. Turns the corner. That's 53, Bruning right there. And on the outside, the other linebacker, Henderson putting a stick on him. Aaron Kyle coming in. Watch him as he bounces around there. That football did just about pop loose and get away from him.
Thornton picks up 3, 2nd and goal at the 3. Harris right to the goal line, but not in. Stacked up by David Stalls and company. Stalls, number 65 from northern Colorado, taking the spot left by Jethro Pugh, who is retired after 14 great years as a Cowboy. Stalls quite an interesting guy. He's studying shark research, behavioral study on sharks, and would like to do his master's work in that area.
Chuck Noll, of course, would love to see his team punch it in. I think he'd like to see him punch it in on the ground, too.
Well, we'll have to see them from the other end of the field, because that's the end of the first quarter here in Irving, Texas. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
The Grand Olds Gang's great year-end drive-away.
Part of Super Steeler Weekend, Sunday at 1 on Channel 11.
Texas Stadium sold out, second quarter. And Pittsburgh trying to culminate an 80-yard drive with a score. It's 3rd and goal at the Dallas 1. This is the 11th play of this series. Harrison Thornton behind Bradshaw. Touchdown. Franco Harris, and he knows the way.
Dick, the Pittsburgh Steelers will run more traps on you than any team in football. That particular play, they trapped with the flanker coming in from the outside. Look at Randy Grossman. Look at him coming in, dives right to the inside, and actually becomes a trapper, opens the way, gets room for the back to go in. Another angle of it. Watch the trap on Stalls. No, not on Stalls, on Bruning, right there. He got onto the inside. Webster's in there to give him some room, able to pop to the inside.
And again, Harris getting that little extra block from Grossman to score. Now the point after by the rookie Matt Barr is good, and the Steelers lead it 7-0. Hold on, a flag is down. Harris, by the way, will start the regular season with 61 rushing touchdowns, only 5 men in NFL history with more. There's the man who beat out Roy Girella. The kick is good. It's 7-0.
Defense, 12 men.
And even against the 12-man defense, Barr, the rookie, got it through. Before the game, we talked with several of the Steelers and the Cowboys about their afterthoughts of Super Bowl 13. One of those was the most valuable player, Terry Bradshaw.
The thing I remember most about Super Bowl was how excited I was to play in the game because it was a part of history, one of the two teams, and also the fact there was a tremendous amount of pressure, and I couldn't wait for the game to be over with so that we could get rid of it.
You gotta love him. You gotta love him. Well, he led his team to be the first three-time champion of the Super Bowl, and he has every right to celebrate that.
You know, and you put it in perspective as the greatness of this quarterback, Bradshaw, when you realize that since World War II, in the modern era of the National Football League, only 2 other quarterbacks have won 3 National Football League championships. And that would be Bart Starr and Otto Graham, and Terry Bradshaw, fairly select company. 7-0 Pittsburgh, an 80-yard drive in 11 plays. Barr, whose kickoffs have not been long, gets it to the 10-yard line. Manning hit at the 19, and Larry Anderson drags him down right there. Good play.
One of the things that Chuck Noll has wanted to improve over the last 2 years is his special teams play. He got better special teams play last year, and he's getting some fine special teams play tonight.
Franco Harris with a touchdown to give Pittsburgh the 7-0 lead early in the second quarter. So far, Pittsburgh with 19 plays, Dallas with 9, and that touchdown drive was so typical of the 78 Steelers' success. How many times they scored on long, sustained marches. Staubach to throw on first down. Wobbly pass, but on the money. Tony Hill, 9 yards to the 29. Check that, Drew Pearson with a catch. Flag is down.
You hear the official saying hold the spot. Quite possible that the penalty will go against the Steelers. Again, you see that Staubach has time to throw the football, and certainly that's not good news for Steeler fans who'd like to see a better rush than that tonight.
Talking with DuPree of the Cowboys, so apparently it's the Dallas choice. And you go back to that catch by Pearson. All the superlatives do one Lynn Swan, but how easy it is to forget how outstanding Pearson has been with the Cowboys in his 6 years.
Defensive holding, number 56, the defense, refused. First down.
Robin Cole apparently had a hold of someone. Speaking of Robin Cole, talking to the Pittsburgh coaches, they felt that he was perhaps the most impressive of their linebackers in training camp. Now, when you got a Jack Ham and a Jack Lambert on your squad, that's a little scary.
Certainly is. Cole out of New Mexico in his 3rd year. Gain of 10 yards for Staubach on that last to Pearson. Eloise Blackwell, number 24, and is he drilled by Robin Cole. Oh, right out of the textbook.
Do you think he heard us talking about him? We talked earlier about a fine hit on a screen on the other side. Let's watch Robin Cole. Quickly reads it to the outside. Now watch the acceleration as he just comes up. Gets good position on Blackwell. Hits him head on and then takes a foot out from underneath him. Staubach, of course, doing a little acting here. Waits until the last minute. Dumps it off. And you should have some room. But Cole took it away from him. Very aggressive play by the linebacker.
A loss of 3 back to the 26. Newhouse, and it's Cole again. So number 56, Robin Cole, makes back-to-back plays in the Dallas backfield.
We just saw the acceleration in the play against the pass. Now watch him beat the double block right there. Slips inside that one. Actually got inside both blocks and is right on top of Newhouse before he can even get around the corner. And I'll tell you, Newhouse a hard back to get on the ground. Cole wasn't giving him an inch.
You once described Newhouse when you tried to tackle him as a 215-pound shot put.
I tell you, I couldn't find anything to hang on to when I got there. Cole must have long arms.
At least bowling balls, you got those 3 holes, but that shot put a little tough to drag down.
Sure is.
He didn't have his speed up that time, and Cole seeming to enjoy his chance to display his stuff tonight.
Well, there's several people in it. We'll talk about another one in a second, Dick.
So 3rd down, 15 for Staubach out of the spread. Good protection. Flag down. Pearson at the 35 and wrapped up by Jack Ham.
Another three-man rush. Another three-man rush, Dick, and they didn't get much pressure, but I think someone had a hold of one of those defensive linemen. Let's watch Drew Pearson, not Preston Pearson. Again, very fluid receiver, but he makes a mistake on this play too. Doesn't have the depth for the first down. Certainly, he's not going to be very happy. I see what he's doing. He's coming back to Roger. Roger's in trouble, and he's making a fine play. Can't blame the man for that. He's coming back to help his quarterback.
Merlin holding against the Cowboys, and Pittsburgh undoubtedly will decline and force Dallas to punt. Let's get the word from the referee.
Offensive holding, number 60, refused, 4th down.
Tom Randall, number 60 for Dallas. Drew Pearson, in his 6 years in Dallas, how good has he been? Averaged 47 catches per year and has never missed a game.
You
know that he was a quarterback in high school, the same high school Joe Theismann attended back in New Jersey. He was the quarterback that followed Theismann.
Certainly one of the people that Pittsburgh would have liked to have back on their roster, having left from there.
That was Preston.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you were talking about Preston.
Now, Preston had 47 catches last year, and Drew's been averaging 47. So the Pearson boys have had some likeness.
Yeah.
Too much time? Or a new football?
What do we have here? We talked earlier about the coaches wanting to see some people, knowing they have some choices to make. One of those people, number 62, Dwayne Board, a rookie, who's playing right end right now for the Steelers. And one of those other people who's fighting for a job, 60, Tom Randall, who was called for that penalty just a few moments ago.
Danny White's kick. Jim Smith at the 29. Good return out to the 42 in Pittsburgh with excellent field position. Timeout at Texas Stadium. 12.5 minutes remaining in the first half, and Pittsburgh with the ball and the lead, 7-0.
I've got something here you're really gonna love. Trust me, trust me. It's new Wonder Bond glue. With Wonder Bond, you can glue glass, china, plastic, or metal in just seconds. And 1 drop of Wonder Bond is strong enough to hold up to 5,000 pounds. You still don't trust me? Then trust this. It's from Elmer's. Stick with a name you can trust. New Elmer's Wonder Bond.
This Bud's for everybody who helps keep our country on the move.
This Bud's for you. You're working hard all day just like you always do. This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Well, tomorrow on Sports World at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and those of you in Los Angeles at 4 o'clock, the rest of you check your listings as you'll want to be in on that light heavyweight bout from Rahway State Prison. James Scott, the inmate, against Ennio Cometti of Italy. 10 rounds, light heavyweights, and you'll also see Indy-type cars in the Trenton 150 on Sports World tomorrow. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Bradshaw from his own 42. Long for Stallworth. Oh, what a catch at the 11-yard line. Aaron Kyle made the tackle, and did Bradshaw drop that one right down the well.
Oh, boy. The strength of his arm, very obvious. Drops back, looks him off a little bit at the short receiver, looks back deep, and just lets it fly. And he threw that ball going back, must have been in the air, 50 yards. Watch Kyle. Kyle gets a little grab on him before the ball touches his hands. Doesn't even bother Stallworth's concentration. Sucks the ball in anyway, puts it down on the 12.5-yard line.
Here it is again. This says it all. You just can't articulate any better than that. First down, Pittsburgh on a 45-yard play to the Dallas 12. Bradshaw going to the air again. And it's Jim Smith. Out of bounds. No catch. And the former Michigan star unhappy that didn't get both feet down.
That's a tough call for the official, because when the receiver is tackled in the air, he has to try and estimate where that receiver would have hit had he come down with his own momentum. You see right there, he's about on the line, driven out, but in the official's opinion, would have landed out of bounds had he not been tackled.
Aaron Mitchell, the rookie, much publicized with the play at the left corner for Dallas. Butch Johnson shielding the headmaster, Tom Landry. As Bradshaw, 2nd and 10 from the Dallas 12, trying to add to the Pittsburgh 7-0 lead. Franco Harris outside. And wrestled out of bounds at the 8 by Cliff Harris, the 10-year veteran from Ouachita, Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Captain Crash.
Captain Crash. Again, warm night like tonight, we're seeing a lot of different bodies. 76, Larry Bethea on there, along with Larry Cole on that left side. Dallas has had to do some rebuilding. Of course, many of you have followed the exploits of Too Tall Jones as he's departed for a boxing career, and Jethro Pugh, a fine left tackle, retired. Dallas has had some problems filling those 2 spots on the left side of their defensive line.
And then to lose Charlie Waters, their outstanding safety man for the year with a knee injury. Bradshaw, man open, Smith, touchdown. Swans back up Jim Smith. He can get open too. 13-0 Pittsburgh.
Terry Bradshaw just seems to be continuing where he left off last year. Coming out to the outside, throws first with all the power in the world on the last play, and then with all the finesse in the world on that one. Just lofted a nice easy pass to Jim Smith, and Smith knew what to do with it. Carried it into the end zone for a touchdown.
The rookie Barr, Matt Barr from Penn State, point after out of Colquitt's hold, and he gets it through. Good job by Colquitt. The snap was not on target. So timeout here in Texas, where the Steelers so far acting as they did last January. They've taken a 2-touchdown lead. It's 14-0 with 11.5 minutes remaining before the intermission.
One higher mileage, Chrysler Corporation is #1 in gasoline mileage of the big 3. Now Chrysler offers a $400 rebate. Make your best deal on these Dodge cars, trucks, and vans, and Chrysler will send you a $400 check. Get a Dodge Diplomat, get a check. Get a St. Regis, get a check. Get a Magnum, get an Aspen, get a Dodge van, or a full-sized pickup. And get a $400 check. Check it out at Dodge.
From now until September 30th, participating Arctic Cat dealers are doing it again.
Hey, Sam, what is this about Arctic Cat's trade?
It's a death camp.
Holocaust, the television event that stunned the world, returns to NBC beginning Monday, September 10th.
The Cowboys trailing 14-0 as Barr kicks it off to Wade Manning and Ron Springs, a couple of rookies from Ohio State. Manning at the 16. He can fly and turns it out to the 36, maybe the 37-yard line before Zach Valentine, rookie linebacker for Pittsburgh, makes the stop.
I don't think Manning has seen enough of these kickoff returns to be afraid of what's up in there. He just grabs that football and goes.
That was an interesting all Big Ten outfield last year. You had Kirk Gibson from Michigan State, Rick Leach of Michigan, 2 outstanding football players assigned baseball contracts, and then you had Manning, a baseball center fielder who went to football. Didn't play football at Ohio State. Staubach trailing 14-0. Hits Newhouse at the 41. Got out to about the 42. Robin Cole said, "You're not going much farther."
We're getting a third defensive end on the right side. John Banaszak, 76. So we've seen Dwight White, Dwayne Board, and now Banaszak. Looks like George Perlis is looking at his charges, has to make a decision, doesn't know who he's going to part with, and that's tough. This is a sad time in the training camps of the strong teams. They hate to part with those good athletes.
Second down along 5 for Dallas. Up the middle goes Eloise Blackwell for the injured Tony Dorsett, and he's close to a first down. Joe Green with a stop. First man picked by Chuck Noll when he took over as the head coach for the Steelers, and '69 was to select Joe Green #1. And what a list of #1 draft picks for the Steelers down through the years. They have just been incredibly successful with that big pick, and sometimes picking rather late because of their own success. Bradshaw, of course, #12 being another #1. Third and less than a yard. Blackwell, I don't think he made it. Jack Ham led the defensive charge. Banasak, 76, also in on the pile along with Furness, 64. Those #1 draft picks, Merlin, 69 it was Green. Next year Bradshaw. 71 wide receiver Frank Lewis. 72 a man named Franco Harris. 73 J.T. Thomas. 74 Lynn Swan. 75 Dave Brown, now a starter with the Seahawks as a safety. 76 Benny Cunningham. 77 Robin Cole. Last year Ron Johnson, and this year they think they've got a great one in Greg Hawthorne, running back from Baylor, who's built like Calvin Hill.
Well, the last time they used a first-round choice, of course, on a running back was on Franco. And if they could get a third of the productivity out of Hawthorne that they've gotten out of Franco, their draft will be well invested in that young man. They're very happy with him. Great speed, great size. You guessed it right, Dick. They're short. Good play on the defensive part. Dallas shifting there at the last minute. The Steelers shifted with him. That's the advantage of having a veteran defensive team. Against the team with a complicated offense, they raise heck with you, but the Steelers able to shift right along with them.
So apparently the Cowboys will punt it away. White's kicks have been tremendous so far. They had the one good one, but they had the short one the last time.
Well, considering he hasn't kicked for a while, I think they're going to be pretty happy with him.
Good one there. He drills it. Smith lets it go to the 5 and into the end zone for the touchback. So Pittsburgh, leading by 2 touchdowns, owns the football at their 20-yard line. 9 minutes, 13 seconds left. First half, Pittsburgh 14-0.
World. Your best bet would be to do is don't bet against me, so you can forget about me losing.
Inmate James Scott puts his undefeated record on the line against Italian light heavyweight champ Ennio Cometti, live from Rahway State Prison tomorrow on NBC.
Around 9 o'clock Pittsburgh time, temperature in the high 80s and very humid. Jack Lambert.
Would you buy a car from this man?
If he said please.
Yeah, that's right. If he wanted me to.
First down Steelers. They have a new running back, 33, Anthony Anderson, a rookie, and he gets the call. And just does get back to the line of scrimmage. Anderson, a free agent pick out of Temple, and has been the leading rusher for the Steelers the last 2 weeks.
Neither team has been able to mount a rushing attack tonight. Dallas with 16 yards on the ground, and of course Pittsburgh with a little better with 46. The big yardage tonight, Pittsburgh 96 yards passing, Dallas only 36. So certainly the black jerseyed Steelers have had the edge not only on the scoreboard but in the statistics in the early going.
Bradshaw has Theo Bell to the left, Smith to the right, Harris and Anderson behind him. 25, 29, make that the 24-yard line as Bruce Huther, third-year linebacker from New Hampshire, number 57, came up to meet the play. Randy White forced Bradshaw out of the cup.
Let's watch Mike Calhoun, 92, rushing against a veteran, number 55, John Cove. Tremendously strong tackle. The young man gets the angle. Watch what Cove does. Pushes him beyond the quarterback. There's no way he can sack him when he's back there. And on top of that, he's on the ground. Then Cove sees his quarterback start to run. He's going to come and get another one if he can. Bradshaw, what's he doing, Dick? He didn't want to take that shot, does he?
He looked like he wanted to make that slide, but he thought better of that, too.
Yeah. He'll run when he has to. He can do that.
3rd and 6. No play. It appeared that number 66, Ted Peterson, moved prematurely on the right side of the Pittsburgh line. That's it. Illegal procedure against the Steelers.
Can't pop that hand off the ground. A lot of changes in there. Bruce Huther in on that last play for middle linebacking position. Brunig came down with some kind of fever last night, quite ill. And Landry, of course, not wanting to have any problem, has decided to give him quite a bit of rest tonight.
Offense.
Also number 59, Guy Brown in there, who's, I think, probably one of the best-looking athletes on the field.
The second fastest man on the team, on the Dallas team.
And big enough to be a defensive lineman.
3rd and 11. Harris with that quick toss. No room. Benny Barnes up from safety to bounce him out of bounds at the 21. So the Cowboy defense is held. Craig Colquitt, number 5, comes in as Harris leaves.
Colquitt has not punted very well yet this evening, Dick. Certainly he would like to get a good one away here, backed up as he is to his own 7-yard line. He needs to get a good punt, give that defense a little room to breathe.
2-step kicker. It'll be a rarity if they ever block one of his. He doesn't take much time at all. Whoa, almost got one there.
Good kick, though.
Manning to his own 28. 30. Look at him go. He's got some running room. 40. 50. One man to beat. Colquitt. And Colquitt gets him out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Wade Manning may have just made himself a pair of Dallas Spurs. 60-yard return by Manning, the free agent rookie.
A 51-yard punt. Very often a kicker kicks beyond his coverage. He did there. Larry Anderson came down, took a dive at him. Zach Valentine missed him. And then Wade Manning just shows him his heels. One man who did a great job on this play, Colquitt. Watch him string it out to the sideline. He knows he's the last man there. And he's going to take as much time as he can. Manning trying to give him a little juke. Colquitt says, no way, I'm taking you out of bounds.
Deepest penetration for Dallas. First down at the 12. 14-0 Pittsburgh. Staubach to Blackwell. And he's to the 7-yard line. L.C. Greenwood and Dwayne Woodruff, 49 Woodruff on the tackle.
You talk about your saving tackles, Dick. I'll tell you, I bet there's a knot in that kicker's stomach when he realizes that he's got to play the safety role. Colquitt doing a good job of getting position on Manning, and that's the key very often. He knows he can't run with him. Gets position, uses the sideline, and watch him fight desperately down here. He knows that if he doesn't get him, there's a chance he'll go on in to score. That's a fine play.
It really was. He didn't let him get back to the inside. 2nd and 5, Dallas at the 7. Pearson in motion. Newhouse spinning inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, and a flag is down. Jack Lambert made the hit for the Steelers. That could have been a motion penalty against Dallas. We'll see. They're talking with the Cowboys. And it's against the Cowboys. That hurts.
Well, you've got a 2nd and 5. You've got beautiful position down inside. You've got all the options in your favor, and suddenly it's 2nd and 10. And then the defense, they shift over and take a lot of the options away from you.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the NBC.
This is Channel 11, WIIC TV, Pittsburgh.
Pearson may have started upfield before the snap. Illegal procedure. It is now 2nd down and a short 10. They lost the 5 yards they gained on first down. See if Staubach takes to the air. Cowboys all but facing a 10-man defensive line. Staubach open. Touchdown. Billy Joe DuPree. The big tight end from Michigan State gets the Cowboys on the board.
Wanted to isolate DuPree on number 25, Oldham. You see it right there. Beat him badly. Staubach had the ball on target. Nice rush by Greenwood. Staubach eluding it. Gets himself enough time. Excellent pattern. That's the way. That's precision football right there, Dick.
The 60-yard punt return by the rookie Manning sets up the Dallas touchdown, and now Septien's try for point out of Robert Steele's hold. No good. He missed to the left. He missed only one all last year, but he hooked it to the left, and the Cowboys still trail by more than a touchdown and extra point. It's a 14-6 game. 6 minutes, 22 seconds left in the first half. Pittsburgh to receive the kickoff when we return. A long punt return by Wade Manning, setting up the touchdown. Staubach to DuPree, 12 yards. Missed extra point. It's 14-6. Pittsburgh. Anderson deep to Septien. Hits that one deep. And right through the end zone. I think he had a little extra adrenaline flowing after missing that extra point.
Well, I don't know who'd be more upset, the coaches on the sideline or Septien. He can't be too happy about that one.
Now, last year, only one NFL team scored more touchdowns than the Steelers, and that was Dallas. Dallas had 48 touchdowns. The Steelers and Patriots 46 each. There's the story on that brief Dallas scoring drive.
Looking down on the field, again, more replacements on both sides of the line of scrimmage. This is a hot night here, and these coaches, you can see the moisture on top of the chrome dome right there. Mel Blunt's head shaved nice and neat.
I don't think anyone likes to play in this kind of humidity. Look at that. Harris thread his way out to the 25-yard line. A gain of 5 before another Harris, Cliff, makes the stop.
Two of the replacements we see down there, 66 Ted Peterson, 77 Steve Corson, two of the backup offensive linemen for the Steelers. Talking about backup offensive linemen, one man that they're going to miss who ended in a starting role, Ray Pinney, last year, recovering from surgery back in Pittsburgh, and we'd certainly like to pass on our best wishes to him. Happily, he's going to be fine, and although he'll be out for the year, they'll have him back next season.
Yeah, they thought it was going to be much more serious, and fortunately, Pinney will be able to play again. Harris skipping to the 28-yard line, and only a fine tackle by the rookie Mitchell coming up quickly to meet that run. Kept it to a 3-yard gain. It appeared that Harris had first down yardage. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Franco Harris, second place among NFL most rushes. Boy, I tell you, he has worked hard. And he's worked hard. I think he can get into 3rd place on the all-time carry list if he continues at the pace he's on through this 1979.
Bread and butter back. They had him in mind when they coined that phrase. 3rd and 2. Thornton and Harris behind Bradshaw. Harris again. And I believe that nose of the ball hit the 30-yard line. Heather made the tackle, 57. And Sidney Thornton, 38. And oh, how Chuck Noll likes the way that kid blocks. He cleared the way for Harris, who is not getting up.
Heather had a great angle on Harris, and he put the leather to him. Some real popping. You give these young men like Heather a chance to play football. He was a free agent out of small school up Vermont, wasn't it, Dick?
New Hampshire.
Watch the shot, New Hampshire. Watch him right there. He puts that hip right on the shoulder, and he's not going to give Franco any room at all. Looked like that ball bounced down just short. Yes, it is. They marked it short.
There's Heather again. A zoology major at New Hampshire, and very strong. He bench presses over 400 pounds. That's a lot of weight for a linebacker.
Well, the other thing, you get a hold of Franco, and having had to tackle him a few times, he is not an easy back to get on the ground. That's a great job by the linebacker.
A tickle short of the first down. It's 4th and an inch as Colquitt will deliver to dangerous Wade Manning. Manning is back at the 30-yard line of Dallas. High and deep. Manning at the 14. 20, 25, 27. Met by Zach Valentine, 54. Impressive rookie linebacker for the Steelers. Timeout. Dallas has the ball again. They scored the last possession. They trail 14-6.
Now, even better.
When you say Budweiser, when you say Bud, you said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Partisan Cowboy crowd checking that scoreboard. Pittsburgh leading Dallas 14-6. Cowboys break huddle. They have a first down at the 26-yard line. An all-new offensive front. Shaw to center, Lawless and Randall at guard. Frederick and Grimmett are the tackles for Dallas. Newhouse to the 37-yard line. First down, Dallas. And that's got to make Tom Landry a bit happier. That's running the football. That's what he's been making for his team to do.
Excellent job over there as Newhouse gets outside of some good blocking by that second-team line. A fresh line. Lauren Taves misses the hook right there. Has a chance, but Newhouse just has tremendous leg strength. Pulls right out of the tackle. Spins away from Robin Cole there. Finally put down on the sideline, but not until he had the first down. That's some good running on the part of Newhouse. Good blocking on the part of that second-team offensive line.
Ball at the 38, first down Cowboys. Time running out in the first half. Saldi in motion.
Offside.
Staubach, incomplete. Appeared his arm was hit. Robin Cole applying the pressure, and I think Saldi moved upfield too soon before the snap. You heard one of the coaches along the sideline yell out offside.
One of the things that Dallas always has problems with, especially when they're playing a lot of people, is offsides and motion and so forth. Their offense is so complicated that unless you run it constantly in practice and on the field, and the game is a lot different, you have trouble with that kind of thing. And they've had the problems this year, early in the year.
Illegal motion on the offense. The number was unreported. Refused. Second down.
It was Jay Saldi, 87.
Yes, it was. You were right.
But incomplete on the pass, so it's 2nd and 10. Chuck Noll Steelers leading 14-6. 3.5 minutes left before the intermission. We hope you'll stay with us. We have highlights, some of the things that have not been shown yet on national television from NFL films of the Super Bowl highlights. I think you'll enjoy what many feel is the most interesting, exciting Super Bowl of them all. Lots of motion, and then Newhouse gets the ball, and the Steelers get Newhouse. 67, Gary Dunn. Tackle from Miami of Florida. His father and older brother played for the Hurricanes at Miami, and his granddaddy was president of Miami from 1926 to 52. There's the general manager, Vice President Tex Schramm in his box.
But he was hoping that Newhouse would break away, but Dunn did a fine job. He's in there replacing Joe Green. Give the veteran a little break. Did a good job of reading the play and an excellent job of hanging on to Newhouse.
Mike Wagner, who is not to play tonight, is in there at the moment, 23. Also Dennis Winston in for Lambert, 53 at middle linebacker. 3rd down 12 for Staubach. Over the middle, Johnson has it at the 49, first down. Johnson, Ron of Pittsburgh and Oldham made the tackle.
Rather a strange defense as Wagner came right up on Preston Pearson, but Staubach able to find Butch Johnson open, and Johnson makes a great grab reaching down and just slides in under the defenders for that first down. Didn't make it by more than an eyelash.
So first down at the 49-yard line of Dallas. Butch Johnson, who went to University of California, Riverside on a track and field scholarship as a pole vaulter. One of the many finds of the Cowboy coaching staff. Trailing 14-6, Staubach to throw. Going to go long, has a man open. Incomplete. Some contact between Blunt and Butch Johnson, but the official waved it off. Appeared to be a good no call. Blunt, man-to-man coverage. You'll see how that betrayed him in the Super Bowl in some of the highlights at halftime that we're going to show you, but that's really a blessing when you have a man who can cover a receiver one-on-one the way Blunt can, because that means that the other guys can take 2-on-1.
Especially in a blitzing situation, Dick. Whenever you're sending a linebacker, you've got to single up, and it's not easy. That means you have to rely on those cornerbacks to take a fast receiver by themselves and not to let him out alone.
You know, it's interesting. Back in the early 70s, remember how the Steeler fans booed Blunt? They didn't like him. He had some lean years, and now he's regarded as one of the very best.
He'll come right up there and kiss you, too. He's right up on the line here.
2nd and 10 at the Dallas 49. Staubach, and there's that quick whistle that we're going to see this year. Although in that case, Staubach wasn't going to wiggle free anyway, as Greenwood and Furness sandwiched him for the sack, the first of the night.
The players out on the field now are totally back into football, but during the offseason, they get a chance to do some interesting things. Ray Oldham and John Banaszak had an interesting experience in the offseason. We'll let them tell you about it.
Probably the most exciting thing that happened to Ray Oldham and myself during the off-season was when our cart went over a cliff in Puerto Rico. I steered the cart into these what are cowtails or whatever they were, and the cart started tipping and Ray jumped out.
The most thing I can remember is when I bailed out into the water, I looked back up and I saw 6'5", 250 Benazak coming over in the cart, and he had him pinned underneath it, and he was hollering for me to get it off of him. It's hard for a 185-pounder to lift the cart, but somehow I managed, and he crawled out.
I crawled out from underneath it, and I had gasoline dripping on me and everything, but luckily we were both okay. Our golf clubs were bent up a little bit, and Ray, being such a great golfer, he had a little trouble with his game after that.
Well, that's when a water hazard is really ridiculous.
I wonder if they were looking for somebody's golf ball down there.
But you can appreciate that football sense of humor. Now, most folks say, how could they find that amusing? But that's the kind of thing that brightened up an off-season.
That's the athlete's attitude toward injury and pain and disaster of a minor sort is rather interesting. They're so used to confronting pain, to confronting things that a lot of people would find very hazardous, that they find humor in that kind of an incident. And I'm sure that's a story that they'll retell for many years.
I bet it'll get better. We ought to ask them again next year.
We'll give them a chance to retell it next year.
Dallas on 3rd and long at the 42, and Staubach back in the saddle. Needs big yardage. Intended for Tony Hill at the 40, but a little too tall. Robin Cole back deep to help out on the coverage. What a first half he's enjoyed.
Let's take you down on the field. And Staubach, of course, back deep in the shotgun. Watch him as he'll sift through, getting pressure on the outside, moves to an open spot, has time to throw the football, slightly off target. Robin Cole up high, almost had his hands on that long enough to pull it down for an interception. A little bit high on the pass on Rogers' part.
So with less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half, Pittsburgh with the lead 14-6 will get the ball. Jim Smith at his own 22 as Danny White kicks it for Dallas. Very high. And it'll go out of bounds, or will it? Stays in bounds. And a Dallas roll to the 10-yard line.
Benny Barnes standing over that ball, motioning, saying, come on down a little bit further. Smith did a smart thing, though. He was up underneath the ball early, could feel the pressure, thought it was going out of bounds, slipped out. A 48-yard net on the punt. That's a good punt. That puts him down on the 10. Gives the Steelers an awful lot of territory in a minute 37.
Merlin, we were talking about Terry Bradshaw earlier, knowing he was good. How long did it take you? Now, you were an All-Pro many years. There's a time where you hope you'll be good, then you think you're good. Then there's that moment, that marvelous moment when you're secure and knowing, doggone it, I am really good. How long did that take for you? Whoa. Franco Harris, he's known it for a while, out to the 22-yard line and a first down.
Franco gave me some times when I had doubts. I said, am I as good as I think I am? Now, in answer to your question, I think until you've been tested by some of the best. I was lucky enough to go to the Pro Bowl in my rookie year and was shocked, in fact. I didn't think I had played that well in my rookie year. Was able to go there and to play well and to play against the very finest offensive linemen in the NFL and held my own. And I knew then that I could do it. And I knew also that I wanted to be as good or better than any of them. And that was my goal then for the oncoming years.
Now, Bradshaw now just trying to maintain that feeling because he knows he's right there at the top of the football world. Harris reverses his field, and down he goes at the line of scrimmage. Bruce Huther, 57. That middle linebacker makes another good play for Dallas. Benny Barnes helping out.
We got somebody down on the field. Huther was over there looking. It looks like it might be Guy Brown.
And Franco Harris also slow getting up for Pittsburgh. 33 seconds left in this first half.
I think Franco's enjoying a little break over there. It is a hot and humid evening, and in fact, I had to change a tire on the way out to the stadium, and I looked like I just gotten into a swimming pool, Dick.
And the players saying, even Cliff Harris said last week, game against Houston, he couldn't recall it being so uncomfortable, and it's another night much like that one. Fortunately, the injured Cowboy Thomas Henderson just shaken a bit, appears all right. Well, looking ahead, a week from Sunday it begins. 16-game regular season, and we hope you'll join us every Sunday here on NBC. And we have a doubleheader for you on Sunday, September 2nd. Most of you will see Houston and Washington in the first game. Merlin and I will be in the Coliseum for the Raiders and the Rams in the second game. But plenty of great action, as you can see, in the first week of 16. NFL regular season Sundays on NBC. Pittsburgh with a 14-6 lead, just trying not to make any mistake.
Three-man rush for the Cowboys. See if they can get some pressure on Bradshaw.
Oh, Anderson. Oh, good acceleration for the rookies across the 25 to the 27. Huther again makes the hit for Dallas.
Randy White is so quick. They were planning on him making a quick move to one side or the other, which he did. They ran to the other side. White went all the way around the center and came back and got a piece of that tackle. He is amazing.
His mom doesn't like that nickname they've...
Manster?
Manster. She says, I just call him Hunk.
Well, I tell you, there's some offensive linemen around the league who have other names for Randy White and also for that man, Harvey Martin. You put two quality pass rushers and two quality defensive linemen like that together, and you create real problem for offensive linemen.
Well, that's like putting Fred Lynn and Jim Rice back-to-back in the batting order. You get around one, you got to face the other. Although Dennis Leonard, as you saw on NBC this afternoon, handcuffed the Red Sox in a brilliant 1-0 victory for the Royals, the hottest team in that American League West at the moment, and trailing the Angels by only 3.5. Next Saturday, it'll be the Texas Rangers who play very near this stadium in Arlington at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. That'll be the key game here on NBC next Saturday. Dallas called that timeout. It's 28 seconds left, third down. Harris to the 30 and short of the first down at about the 31. Henderson with a tackle. Back in the game for Dallas, and the Cowboys exercise another timeout.
23 seconds left. You got to believe that they'll be coming after this punt. Certainly one of the things Dallas has done very well over the years is to block punts, although Colquitt, as you mentioned earlier, Dick, is a two-step kicker and difficult to get to.
Couple of injury reports, Merlin. Dwight White, the veteran defensive end, and he's battling for a job with the Steelers this summer, has an ankle injury. They're going to examine him at halftime, perhaps x-rays, and the same for Mike Hegman, the Dallas linebacker, big toe that will be x-rayed. Or the toe injury sounds simple enough, but when you're talking about Tony Dorsett and what that might mean to the Dallas season, and it's, as you pointed out, it's really rough to have the toe injury on the carpet.
When you play on this artificial turf, your feet take a real beating, and toe injuries are very serious.
23 seconds left in the half. One man back. Manning, oh, he could have returned that one, but fair catch at the 34. Undoubtedly, Landry said, don't take any chances, fair catch it, and that's what the kid did. So Dallas, with 17 seconds left, has the football at their own 34 and a 36-yard punt.
I think Colquitt was more concerned. He knew the all-out rush was coming, as it did, and he just wanted to get it out of there. That's an excellent punt under the circumstances.
Staubach with chance for 2, maybe 3 plays. Cowboys have used their 3 timeouts, so he'll have to work the clock with the incomplete pass in the sidelines. 14-6 Pittsburgh. So we close out this first half, and we've got Super Bowl highlights for you. At halftime, Dallas played so very well in the second half last week. See how they do tonight.
Strange defensive setup. 3 defensive linemen with a big gap right in the center.
Staubach, little pressure, little screen to Newhouse. 40, 45 to the 50. But the clock is running. 7, 6, 5, 4. May not get a play off. That's it. Staubach could not get the ball out of bounds. The end of the first half. The score here at Texas Stadium in Irving. The Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers 14. The Dallas Cowboys 6.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm here with a group of young people at the University of Florida campus. You know, you hear a lot of talk about the serious alcohol abuse problems we're having in this country. And so often these problems start because young people make the wrong decisions about drinking. But here's a group that's doing something right. They started a unique program that you should have in your own community or college. It's a student club called Bacchus, and it's working to prevent alcohol abuse problems before they start. These young people are